How's for you, Bob? Back by popular demand. I don't think it was really that fitting for this week, to be honest with you. I think for the most part, everybody's running for the hills, not following like sheep, to be honest with you. But that was a suggestion. Thought I'd roll it out because it's funny as hell. And I'm just in kind of a funny mood this week, really trying to embrace what everybody's talking about in the stock market. I see the portfolio goes down 10 grand in the morning and then I'm up 2 grand in the afternoon. So that was kind of a fun. If you want to just, I know what it's like to be a yo-yo. That's kind of cool. But I actually think this intro actually speaks a little bit more specifically to what's actually going on in the stock market right now. So this is actually the debut of my new stock market crash intro. So enjoy this for a few seconds, guys. I don't know how the hell I can joke about this, right? This is a joking thing, and I couldn't really put heavy losses on the portfolio. I'm going to roll out the calcs to you guys from this week. I was up three. I was up actually pretty nicely in 3 of my buckets that were sent around the passive aspect. If it weren't for the Hyliion situation right now, which, people might say, hey, Ryan, what's your thoughts? Blah, blah, blah. Are you jumping off a cliff? No, I'm not. I'm actually pretty proud of what I've been able to put together here between 20 and the 1117 low. You guys saw some extremely big volume come in right there at that 1117. I don't know how the hell they do it, man. But if it's stock manipulation, okay, whatever it is. I mean, I'm a retail investor, and I'm going to beat the drum for retail investors. That's why a lot of people come to the Independent Investor Channel live stream. For you guys that are returning guests to the channel and the community, welcome. If you are, in fact, new to the Independent Investor Channel, I did kick off just a touch early tonight just because the fastest 60 minutes on YouTube is becoming really difficult to get through all the material that I want to get through. And this means an awful lot to me. It really does. This week was a little different. My perspective and lens on the stock market, perhaps maybe a little refreshing to you guys. Not my first rodeo. I've been down this road many, many times. It checks the comments that I make through social media. Absolutely. I don't picture myself on a fake cartoon rocket going to the moon with my wealth. I just don't look at the stock market that way. I look at it for what it is, right? It's a wealth building tool overnight. Look, if you want to get rich overnight, play the lottery. The chances of you winning are 0. You won't win. You won't. The masses, however, over the long term, can win with the stock market. Okay. The irony in that is that everybody takes what I just said right there and tries to skew it. And then they try to massage it and they try to mold it into something that they want it to be. Raw. Unfortunately, that typically comes back to kind of bite you, and different strategies. Nice to see different strategies and how they're rolled out and how they're performing in this market. My portfolio set up with a defensive passive aspect that typically comes out and shines during times of volatility. I'll declare the calcs to you guys tonight. You're going to be interested to see how the numbers shook out in some of those little portfolios that are just chugging along. They're just chugging along and they're ripping out some profit. They really are. So while everybody else is talking about creeping into the prepper bunkers and doing all that noise, I celebrated my 16th wedding anniversary on Monday to my girl. And that's what it's all about, baby. Sure is. As far as the stock market goes, I don't think it's necessarily as bad as everybody is making it out to me. I know listening to Jim Cramer, we're all supposed to just be running for the hills here and buying into all of this. Sell everything, and join everybody in the prepper bunkers and wait for the zombie apocalypse to hit. I just don't see that. Maybe there's a reason why I don't see it. I don't have TV anymore. So I've never been so liberated in my life. I've been a little disappointed this week. I actually injured my knee insofar as I probably have to stop running. So at 43 years old, my body has finally caught up to myself. And if there was a little bit of inkling for me to be slightly depressed this week, that's what it was about. Because I couldn't do what it is that I love to do, and that is to go out and pound pavement. I love it. I've always loved it. I love the way I feel after it. I don't necessarily love the act of running, but I do love physical fitness, and I'm going to have to supplement. I have actually supplemented the elliptical machine, which isn't quite the same, but I've got to stop running because I'm going to absolutely abuse my knees. It's just not going to happen here going forward. So that was a little piece, a little strike to the dietary category this week. Perspective, okay? I'm not going to get on here and tell you about doom and gloom on the stock market. I'm down $4,000 from last Friday. Not too shabby, right? And most of that drawdown today, I'm not kidding you. This morning was an interesting slippery slope. I was watching it point by point because I was actually monitoring it from the perspective of looking at entries. And I was telling Mr. Wright that I was able to secure 5 contracts at 1050 strike on Hyliion, which is fantastic. I was buying the stock on the way down as well. I didn't really care. I was firing away at 100 share bullets down. And I think when I do chronicle what I did to base up on the position, it's going to be extremely enjoyable for a lot of people to look at that. I'm very proud of the efforts. I was able to secure some interesting a cash secured put premium there that was available for a few seconds. That was really the trade of the day today. So we have those contracts nicely in place. If the stock falls to 1050 or below, I think my break even is below 10 at 980, something like that, right? So was able to collect 360 in premium, not too shabby, and then buy 500 more shares if it dips that far. But it was really interesting watching the double dip and watching the volume increase on the charts today from a technical perspective. I don't have level 3 trading. I do, but I don't use the platform very often. But it was interesting to watch the volume on the stock today. Everything was selling. And honestly, there was some exacerbated selling in the SPAC space. So I don't know if people are going to have to re-rack and re-divert their chariots of fire toward retirement in that they've found the next thing to the glory of God in the SPAC environment. But I don't think there was a whole lot that escaped today. If JMac pops on this evening, we can certainly get his insight on that. But I only hold one SPAC in my portfolio. And I'm getting my ass kicked in it, so it's fun. I'm making money on the strategy that I know works, but on my strategic aggressive growth aspect, it's getting punished, it's getting crushed, and that's just the way of it. That's how it goes sometimes. I think SoFi will be fine long term. It's just we're going through kind of an interesting phase right now where people are realizing that the fundamentals or the perceived I want there to be fundamentals, but they're not really there, but we're going to invest in it anyway because they all go to the moon anyway. And fundamentals, I don't want to say fundamentals don't matter. Let me pick my words differently. All I have to do is just trip and fall into these stocks and they seemingly go up every single day. This is awesome. This is badass. Why didn't anybody tell me about this? This is incredible. Have you heard about this, Ryan? This is incredible. All you have to do is just throw your money at it. You don't have to know shit about the stock market. You make money every day. It's fabulous. Yeah. It's amazing how things turn on a dime, right? That's not to say that 2021 won't be the continued marvel of the SPAC, and also with the rotation in big tech. I'm really interested to keep an eye on that. I know Bob writes in the group here. He said he made a strategic stab at that. I think that's a good move. I really do. I was satisfied with my entry in Amazon at 33. I guess what's the difference? To be honest with you, at 3,000 or 33, it doesn't really matter to me too much. But let's jump into the calcs, man. I really want to show you guys how this is ripping. So hopefully for the hundreds of thousands of people who are tuning into other YouTube channels, for the 57 people of you guys that are with me tonight, I drink to you. Thank you very much. Shout out to my good friend, Mr. Paul. Thank you. I won't use last names. I won't. It's a first name relationship that I've got with my community here, man. But it's all about the finer things in life, guys. So cheers to you. As we go through and we declare the numbers, I'm going to throw them up on the screen just like I do. You guys are going to be interested to see. I guess it would be more interesting if I could come on and tell you guys that I've lost a fortune, but I haven't. We're down week over week in this by $500. Yeah. Nothing too crazy. I added one position just like I said I would. That position is BLK. I did admit to my private Facebook group, my WhatsApp group, that was an ill-advised buy. I didn't care. I wanted a position in the company, and I adjusted my scale accordingly. I only bought 5 shares, whereas I would have typically entered into BlackRock at a 10-share position, which would have been fairly sizable. This is a big bitch. It's a big bitch, trust me. Was glad I kept my Bank of America. I had disclosed on my stock picks for March that I was thinking about liquidating that and taking some really nice profits. I'm glad I did not do that. But Bank of America is overvalued right here, unfortunately. I don't know what I'm going to do. Financials are really in favor right now. I'm whipping some ass with energy. Matt Money's like, yeah, Ryan, go, buddy, go. Matt's like, yeah, tell him, Ryan. I don't know what else to say. Okay. No one sector goes up forever. So if you're deploying a cookie cutter strategy in the stock market, you might as well learn to cook another meal, right? You can't go on eating the same meal every single night just because it's good. Okay. It'll spoil eventually. All right. But there's how the position rolled out. Everything else remained the same. Nothing else really to declare. Boeing on fire. Nice to see that. Amazon. Yeah, I thought about it. It's a starting position for me. I do own 2 whole shares of Amazon. For a retail investor, that's got to be motivating to some people out there. So I'm proud of that. And shit. And when this happens right here, Amazon's an easy stock to take into a downturn. I'll continue to monitor it. If it gets too crazy low, I'll pop another couple in there. No big deal. Or just dollar average down in the shares. It's no big deal. Amazon can turn on a dime there. Nothing else crazy, I think, in here. Leggett and Platt's trading like a penny stock. I mean, value's coming into favor. So again, my portfolio is very heavily tailored to value. Offset with my most current move into some starting positions of big tech and some starting positions in some high tech growth, right? Which both of those are suffering. CrowdStrike has just got annihilated. I think Salesforce.com is providing you an entry, right? So they're starter positions. Okay. I'm down in the starter positions. I entered into those because I knew I had a buffer in the layering strategy that I deploy in the amount of value that I have. So, I mean, value's kicking some ass. My VYM is up every day. It's incredible. I'm up huge in VYM right now. That's a dividend paying juggernaut. Ding. That's the brokerage. Roth IRA number 1. There it is. We were down a little bit week over week, not too much, a little over 1,500, I believe, in this, couple grand. Nothing too crazy, nothing to sneeze at. No real major changes in here as I'm reviewing the portfolio to report from week to week. Not a whole hell of a lot. I will say that the most activity in this is definitely my strategic focus on massaging Hyliion. massaging it. All right. That's all I'm going to say about that. Don't say I didn't tell you so. All right. Very cool. Roth IRA number 2. Here we go. Let's rip. 115. This is down just a touch a little bit. Again, the crowd strike doesn't really help. But with the value in here, I think Facebook really looked good. I liked the Facebook action. Facebook, I think, is the number one. Man, you could put this in any category. Facebook is kind of on an island. It's that good of a company. Yeah, it really is. Performed really, really well in the face of some real sell-off and adversity in big tech growth. Facebook is a little more value growth oriented. Trades just shy of a 30 multiple, I believe. Not too shabby, right? But nothing else too crazy in here. That's the way it shook out. All right. Very cool. And rolling down the list, this is the little portfolio that could chugga chugga. This is up week after week over week. So everybody's asking me if I survived. Like I said, my knee's killing me. It feels a little better tonight because I did about 45 minutes on the elliptical, so I feel a little bit better. But I need to stop being a pussy. I get it. I'm only 43. I understand, but I've abused my body over the years. But yeah, as far as the portfolio goes, this little dab is up. This little girl right here. This was my idea. This was the brainchild of the Independent Investor channel. If for nothing else, you come in and you see a very unique hybrid strategy in one of my portfolios. This is one of my taxable brokerage accounts. This is where part of the YouTube earnings go. So since inception, it's gone right here. This is where it goes. Kind of a cool idea to own all 11 sectors. So everybody's talking about a technology rotation. Oh my God. Well, I'm catching it all because see, I own technology, but I also own materials, which is whipping some ass and nobody talks about, right? Energy's up 20%. So like, wow, Ryan, this interesting stuff you're talking about. You mean I don't have to just invest in technology all the time to win in the stock market? I'll let you figure that out. All right. The numbers don't lie. Here's another one that I'm up week after week. Here we go. I'm up fairly sizable for relatively small. This is value dividend growth portfolio. Of course, this is going to do well. This is up fairly sizable week over week. I should declare the percentages to you guys, but I was surprised. I looked at these numbers and I thought, man, that'd be awesome to come on and say I'm down 50 grand. Hell, these are made up right before the live stream, guys. So this is about as live and in tune with what the portfolio renders from week to week. Not too shabby, the level of transparency for a little retail investor that could. I'm not just doing this for me. I'm doing this for you. Okay. Lots of different ways to win in the stock market. Okay. It doesn't always have to be the preferred method. Again, it always doesn't need to be you following the rocket ship to the moon. Okay. With the 4 idiots on board. Come on, follow. Just a little shot over the brow. It's all right. We'll survive. Come on now. I've been doing this a long time. Provide me a little latitude. All right. If you guys will notice, I'm staring right into the camera tonight. Oh, baby. Oh, baby. Yep. Yep. Absolutely. So there it is. Another one that's up week over week. This is up a few $100s. This is the passive TSP. This is a big reason why I wanted to own BlackRock. This is fantastic. They manage this. This is my participation. Look at that PIP, 33.53. I had to make sure that that wasn't a typo. That was what it is. That's a year over year from where the portfolio was last year and where it was at the time of taking this. And it re-racked right before I declared this number at 45,908. So not too shabby. Nothing to shake a stick at. It's up week over week. So again, I'm not sure that the market is crashing right now. Not sure. The verdict is still out. Please tell me if I'm wrong in the comments section. Say, Ryan, you're missing the whole point, man. We're all burning in hell over here, and you're talking about gains week over week. Sorry. I don't make these numbers up. It's not about me. It's not about emotion in the stock market either. There's those highly on puts. Those were written today. 5 of them, 3 in one account, 2 in the other. The contracts were exactly the same. The 10 and a halfs expiring March 26. The premiums were 310, excuse me, 210 and 130 respectively for the two premiums. And the 130 was the less lucrative out of the two. The 210 was the good one. Okay. The 210 I wrote first, and a couple seconds later, the stock started to push up off of that 1117. And I wrote these contracts right at around 1130. $11.30, not 11:30 in the morning. But it was right on about 11 o'clock where this was kind of basing and the volume was spiking to incredible levels. Institutional buyers, baby, they're plucking this thing up out of the sun. If they thought it was going to zero, I highly doubt that Vanguard and or BlackRock and or the laundry list of green buys, we're talking millions of shares being accumulated in the company here with this sell-off. And I just sit and I just look at it. All right. Yay. Investing is fun. No, I shouldn't say that. Investing isn't fun. Investing's fun. But I have the maturity not to get emotionally attached to the stock is going to zero. I made the mistake of going into a thread today on Hyliion of a bunch of know-it-alls that know that the stock is going to zero. I'm just going to go out on a limb and tell you it's probably not going to zero. Thomas Healy will be doing his interviews in naked. He won't have any pants. They'll be like, Thomas, your company's stock is at zero, bro. Like, you got all these killer ideas and your battery charges in 8 minutes, but your company's going like it's bankrupt, bro. And he'll be like, what? Awesome stuff. There's the leaps in there. And the total portfolio value is down a whopping $3,000. I was down over 10 this morning. Made it all up, and we ended up back in the black by 2,000. Value really outperformed. Hyliion did recover from the base. It recovered all afternoon. Absolutely. I kind of called it 1117 has a potential to be that flush out low. We'll see. I don't know. It could go to $5. I don't know. I don't really care, to be honest with you. At this point, I've been a constructive, active investor in the company, and we're gonna monitor the progress. And it's going to be very interesting to see 2022, 2023, 2024, and 2025 respectively for this company. Not March 8th of next week. That's irrelevant. Nor is looking at the specifics of this company based on where the share price is trading day to day. Doesn't matter. Doesn't matter one bit. All right. Very cool. So that's how the calcs ripped out, guys. I just want to get to the comments here, man. There's a ton of people in the gallery. I'm going to go right to the comments tonight. All right. So Bob says, kudos to me. 1193. That was one of many 100-share bullets that I fired away today at 1193 on the entry. I'll cover those a little bit more intently. I've been off covering the stocks. I don't think people need to hear that stuff from me. I think we can help more people out there if I can earmark what I just showed you on the passive investing portfolios. That shit's real. That's amazing stuff. If you honestly think that this stock market is heading south and it's heading further south, great. I won't be able to come on here when the perception is such that the stock market is crashing and I can declare numbers to you that I'm up week over week. I'm not going to be able to do that if it continues down. But I don't think the stock market's moved that much. We're still up above 30 grand in the Dow, and just less than a freaking year ago, we were below 20. Okay. You got to stay with me, guys, on this perspective. Okay. I try to give you both sides of the spectrum so you can really, really look at this investing thing like it's not a game, because it's not. It's serious business, man. It's serious. And depending on the level of risk that you want to take, the reward could potentially be there on the reciprocated side of the house, right? But to understand the totality of different strategies, the risk you take on over here for that reward over here, or maybe you take on a little bit less risk for a little less reward over here. Okay. We want to try to define those different avenues of strategy, okay, in your application. That way, you don't misinterpret the investing arena as just being tripping and falling on your face into GameStop, okay, to go to the moon. I'm not really sure why that's still getting headlines. I don't know. I'm winning in the stock market just being a value investor, and I'm happy to do so. It's what I've done for decades. I'm totally fine. I'll live to fight another day. I'm totally good. All right. Victor says he's going to give me a beer, a Newcastle. That's fantastic. Great to see you, my friend. Fantastic. Love it, man. Really appreciate it. See, now we've got time to have some fun tonight. I don't have to burn through my 60 minutes so fast, and it might just be me. I don't know if Jay's going to make his way on. If he does, I'll kick him in here. If not, I'm going to run the stream tonight myself, which is he's kind of like my bread and butter. Brings me back to the olden days. All right. I have them down where I want them. I'm certainly long. Sure. So, yeah, I mean, the entry, if you want to take a strategic stab, works here. Obviously, the stock at 11.17 is more attractive than the stock at $20 a share. Is it going to remain in the low teens? I don't know. Is it going to enter into single digits? I don't know. I don't come onto YouTube to do that kind of stuff. I leave that to other more entertaining channels. I want to align myself with more of what I think is the correct dialogue in assessing the stock market in general and when talking about stocks specifically. And I think more people need to say, I don't know, instead of saying, yeah, the stock definitively is going here. And I've been told I need to be more definitive with my application. And I am in other aspects of my life, just not the stock market. Sorry, I don't think it has its place. I don't. You know, that the definitive language sometimes makes me want to cringe. And I'm like, really? Usually when somebody's super, super sure about a specific stock, and especially the direction that the stock is headed, usually end up come back to bite you. Okay. And if you do get it right, it's luck. Okay. Let's be real. Investing in a nutshell is almost like an educated guess. Did he just say that? Yeah, he did. He just said that. Investing is almost like an educated guess. Okay. You got all this research at your disposal. You got all the metrics to look at. You've got all this stuff to look at. If you don't know what to look at, no problem. We do a great job on the Independent Investor channel and other channels as well of kind of streamlining the options for you in investing, right? Because I think anybody can do passive investing. Honestly, I could train a monkey to succeed doing passive investing. And I honestly think that that's where the bulk of attention for people needs to be. Look, if you're playing with your first 10,000 bucks, split it up. You know, work up to that first 10,000. If you're looking at 1,000, 2,500, 5,000, right? You don't really need to be dabbling in the single stock arena just yet. Okay. Let yourself get working a little bit. All right. Let yourself get used to, subjecting your money to some level of volatility. It'll get your mind right. Okay. So you're not freaking out and being like, God dang, Ryan, are you okay, man? I'm free. And I'll be like, yeah, my knee hurts, but I'm fine. Like, leave me alone. I'm good. I don't know what you're talking about. I'm sorry. And I think that's a lot of the value that you can get from my perspective. Let this market hiccup 20 more percent. You'll see a different side of me. I'll move from phases: green, yellow, red, green, yellow, red. You pull up to the stoplight and you see green, yellow, or red. Very, very simple. We're very simple thinkers. Jesus, you go into McDonald's. They've made it very, very simple. Can I have a number one with a Coke? I'm going to make investing very, very simple in that application as well. Just a couple months ago, if not a month ago, I was talking about we're all in the green. We're good. If you want to sell some stock, if you want to put some cash to work, if you want to deploy a program, you certainly can do that, but you can do it with scale. I would consider this almost just moving into the yellow category, to where it's like, okay, the market's down a couple bits. I don't even know what the percentage from the high is. I don't know, a couple percent. I don't know. I'm not really sure why everybody's freaking out. And I'm certainly not sure why everybody's saying that the market's going to freaking crash. Like, who the hell are these people? Have they been investing for like all of 4 days? Get some experience, you know? It's all good. I can buy more. If you think the stock market's already crashed, then buy more. Get onto your YouTube channel and tell people to buy more if you think it's already crashed. All right. Don't make stock market investing out to be more than what it is. It is what it is. All right. It can be a very lucrative opportunity over the long term. All right. But it's where you start to take that long term passive opportunity in the stock market and you want to try to take that lightning and you want to try to put it in your back pocket. And you're like, I got this thing, man. I'm going to be the one. I'm going to be the one, man. I got this thing licked, man. Don't make it more than what it is. All right, Mr. Dividend Driver James is in the house, man. Fantastic. Great to see you, my friend. This also means a lot to me. I take this opportunity to digress and thank the community of the Independent Investor Channel. There's no better community that I would rather associate myself with, and I don't say it enough, but kudos to me for actually vocalizing it and saying it to you kind people. It means a lot to me. And I think just coming out of this, going on a year of what's been hellacious, it's been really, really bad. A lot of people aren't here anymore. And to be able to at least to come in and talk around a financial topic like this, which I think escapes a lot of people in all reality. I really do. And the reason why I know this is because in my day-to-day interactions with people, it never ceases to amaze me how a lot of other aspects in their life can be so much more fulfilling, so much more satisfying if they could just find it in themselves to study up on the financial topic a little bit, get a little bit of savvy about this thing, a little bit of perspective. Investing can absolutely be fun. It can be a complete nightmare without the correct perspective on it. Okay, makes for a good headline, and it makes for a good title of a YouTube video. But in reality, is that really the message that we want to be portraying about the stock market? I'll leave that rhetorical question up to you guys. All right, there's only one of me, and there's only going to be one unique perspective that comes out of my mouth. All right. There's no other independent investor channel out there, and nobody talks like me. I've checked. I've checked. Okay. There's a few that I really, really like and push out really, really good information, many of which are in this community here. But I just think that there's never, ever room in the stock market to be complacent. Ever. Ever. Okay. And the second that you think that you got it licked, it'll turn on you and it'll go a different direction. Okay. That's why I always advocate for doing it all. Do it all. It'll be a passive investor to start. Absolutely. Ryan, I want to add a little dividend portfolio to my layer up. Absolutely. Do you do a 401k? Do you do a TSP? 100%, Ryan. I sure do. Good for you, man. I tip my hat to you. You're contributing to your financial future. Why? Because you don't have to spend every waking dollar that you get. Why? Because especially people in this country, okay, not to be rude, but we spend too much damn money. And I'm here to tell you, you don't need to. Okay. You don't need to. Well, where do I put my money, Ryan? Therein lies the beauty of the stock market. Put it there because you, in fact, maybe need somebody like me to tell you, you do not need all the crap that you buy. Okay. You don't. Stop buying so much crap. Okay. If you have a bunch of debt because you spend too much on crap and you spend over what you make, okay, then you can focus on that debt and chip away down on that debt until you're even eligible to enter into a wealth building program and take advantage of the very opportunity that we have to enter into the stock market and lose money in the capacity that everybody tells me everybody's losing money over the last week or so. I'm sorry, I just don't see it. I'm sorry. This is a hiccup as far as I'm concerned. The stock market has a real potential to really dole out some pain. And this is hardly pain. Chris J., great to see you, my brother. Thank you so much for making your way on the channel. Friend of the family, part of the community, and every little bit of success that we can render for individual investors, retail investors. Yeah, I'll continue to beat that drum because I am, in fact, a success story and an advocate for retail investors out there, guys. Fantastic. All right. I'm a cruise down here. Got my great friend out on the West Coast. Fantastic. Great to see you, Lydia. Thank you for popping in a little bit early. I know I started a little bit early, but I don't get to hang out with you guys very often. When I film YouTube videos, and I'm staring at my screen like this and it's irritating the hell out of people, I don't get to come on and just hang out with you guys. All right. And this project is predicated upon the success of individual investors. There's no doubt about that. Has very little to do with me. I've got enough success in my life. I really do. I'd love to share it. I gave you a piece of that success with celebrating my 16 years of marriage to my angel. It's that simple. Stock market investing, yeah, it's all great, but again, I do preach what I practice what I preach, in that I don't make it more than what it is. It's a great wealth building and generating vehicle. It is, but you know, I have some strategic plays right now in the portfolio where, yes, in fact, I'm trying to make it more than what it is, and I'm being punished for it right now. Okay. Now, whether or not my discipline pays off and my ability to take a stock trade that is not for the faint of heart and turn that around where most people would probably take the same stock trade and screw it up, I will make it a success. I will. And I'll chronicle the whole journey when it's done. Okay. I've got it earmarked for $100. I'll wait till it gets there, and then I'll chronicle my thought processes and what I did. But I refuse to do that chronicling right now because I do not want to persuade people away from the core intent of the message, and that is to become a participant in the market. Get yourself off the sideline first. All right. Prove to me that you can save your first $500 and separate yourself from that $500 and put it to risk. You do that, now we're talking. Now we're talking about the first steps toward a disciplined future. Okay. I don't want to roll out stock picks that I know in my mind you might want to hear about, but I know you do not need to hear about those right now. The masses do not need to hear that stuff. They don't. They don't. They need to hear about how to empower their financial future by becoming a participant in the market by getting their start. That's what most people need to see. All right. I made the greatest baked chicken this week, and I used some maple syrup from none other than my good friend, Chris Blaine. He says, is my clock broke? No, man. I started early. I took 15 minutes. And I gave away 15 minutes of bonus time, Chris. You got me anytime, man. He knows this. But I tell you what, that was a hell of a touch on that chicken, man. It was the greatest chicken I've ever made. It was like honey chicken. It was beautiful, man. It was incredible. It was very good. So thanks for you, Chris. I appreciate you popping in here, man. I jumped right over Brett. We get my proper shout outs to the crew here. No worries, can start anytime, he says. Yeah, that was first. I may take an extra half hour. I may drop that time back and go to a half hour. I think there's a lot of people who miss because I get in my groove and I switch from the right side of my brain over to my left side of my brain. And that's usually where the good stuff is. The right side, not so much. Okay. The left side, if you can sit in front of me and catch when I'm in my zone over here, which I am now, then you're the beneficiary for it. You can understand. You can accelerate your wealth in a lot of ways because I give it away, man. I really want to help people. I freaking do. I think a lot of people are their own worst enemy. I do. I think people need to do a better job of getting out of their own damn way. I think there's a lot of people out there that are more than capable of winning in the stock market, but they are, in fact, their own worst demon. And they create the barriers that prohibit them from getting to a financial future that is impressive. Yeah. Yeah. But that's all right. That's all right. We're going to keep revolving around the topic because there's a lot of work to be had around this topic. And there's a lot of people out there that need our help and can find this to be very helpful. And it's all about discipline. It becomes a hell of a lot less about the individual stock picks and the makeup of the portfolio. You know, if you just took that 11 sector portfolio that I have and tripped and fell into it, did no research whatsoever about the stock market, used my allocation, you could win with that over time. And that is a message that I can resonate with. Now, the deeper question is, Could you invest in that and subject that portfolio to a downturn? In other words, are you going to have the mental fortitude that's necessary to persevere when the stock market doesn't do what it is that you think it should do, right? There's lots of people think the stock market can just go up all the time. This is awesome. And it does that through stretches. It's like, man, I wake up, I look at my phone, I'm like, God dang, I'm up again. Jesus, like, come on, go down. Come on, this isn't the stock market. This is crazy. But yeah, maybe at least over the last few weeks, maybe it's doled out a little bit of reality. And I think it's reality checking some people. And all right, all right, I've done the best I possibly could and let people know that the stock market is it goes two directions, up and it goes down. Okay. And we want to prepare for both. That's okay. All right. Nobody would do stock market investing if it was just a zero sum game and that we got involved and we lost everything. It doesn't work that way. The idea is to acknowledge, yes, okay, good. We built a strong program. You know, there's a ton of people in this community right now. I'm looking at them right now. I'm looking at them right now, and they're so solid in their program. We together, me too, in the portfolios, right? That I disclose to you guys, reduce fees down to an anemic level, almost to nothing, right? So the fee aspect is taken care of. Then the tax acknowledgement piece is taken care of. So if we get a little hiccup in the stock market, and it does what it is that we expect it to do at some point, we don't know when it's going to be, but we know that it's going to be inevitable. We can live with that. We can live with that because we've already asked those questions ahead of time, and we're prepared mentally to not only subject our portfolio to a downturn, but look to even strategically profit from it. All right. When the stock market crashes, for me, let's remove the word crash and we'll substitute it with opportunity. Isn't that great? See, you knew why you came into the Independent Investor channel tonight. You knew I would drop a few nuggets. There you go. See, it's a great mix between green tea and Crown Royal. Yeah. Becky, great to see you. It's nice. I can take a comment like, good evening, Ryan, and everyone, and turn it into a portfolio building exercise. I just love this stuff. I really do. Fantastic. Got Proper 19, who owns the very first comment of the night. Oh my gosh. Hold on. Holy smokes. There we go. I hit the wrong button and I ended up jumping into another screen, guys. I apologize for that. But Proper 19 is in the house. Fantastic. Makes me want to sell. Sell what? I don't think I sold any stock at all, man. I took a little bit of profits. I disclosed during my top stock picks for March. And I'm rolling those out a little bit different. I'm actually giving what I feel is the fair market value of the stock in comparison to where the stock is trading. So I give my hypothesis on what I own, why I own it, whether or not I think it's overdue or overvalued, and what I'm going to do with it. Okay, I think that really, really helps. I don't figure fair market value out by hand. I have a program in my brokerage account that does that for me. So that's where those numbers come from. But I think it actually really, really helps people understand like why I took a few shares off of Citigroup when I did. Why I took a few shares off of JP Morgan when I did, why I'm thinking about taking a little bit off of Bank of America, and I'm glad I didn't. I wish I wouldn't have entered into BlackRock. So I knew I was buying up on it, really kind of an ill-timed buy, but I just am very, very bullish on the company. It's a beast. Cash flow, fantastic. Dividend security, fantastic. Asset manager, one of the absolute best. I'm a participant under the TSP and the government pension program. I think they've got 7 or 8 trillion assets under management. So it's a juggernaut. It's a beast, and it's one that I keep my eye on. I don't put it in the top 5, but I put it number 6 along with PNC, which I believe BlackRock used to have a minority share in PNC, that of which they here just recently dissolved away. Okay, fantastic. All right. I went from 44 return to 8%. I bought more shares today. Well, you're young. You're all right. And you have to kind of look at it this way too. There's an aspect to the portfolio that's somewhat aggressive, right? So when you get those aggressive results from a portfolio that's built to be a little bit aggressive, right? And I've known you now for years. I know, you have a style about you of how you want to invest and what type of investor you want to be. The difference between you and a lot of other people out there is a lot of people couldn't handle investing the way that you do, and that's about it, the best compliment as I can provide. Now, you may redefine that risk tolerance to the market and how you structure your portfolio based on how life evolves for you, but that's the whole gig, right? You want to align, and you're very, very forthcoming with what type of investor you want to be, and I think that's great. I think a lot of people need to take a page out of this playbook right here from my investment journey, Miss Lydia, and how she deploys her program. It's impressive. It's a lot of how I and a lot of other people in this really, they don't do it just like me. And that's a good thing. All right. Remember the sheep at the top of the live stream? I do that as a joke. All right. Too much group think, guys. All right. Way too little individual thought, way too little free thinking, way too little deployment of individual activities, way too much thinking on your own. Okay. All right. The second you find that personal empowerment piece and the ability to march to the beat of your own drum, the better off you'll be. There is no doubt in my mind, man. It's an absolutely magical thing. It really is. All right. Well, less than half an hour here on the live stream, guys. Ton of comments, man. I'm still rolling right through. It's all about you guys tonight. Intro looks epic and good job. Fantastic. I appreciate that. Have some fun making those. Those are cool. I just felt like it was kind of a pulse. Like I see crash on every single video that rolls out. Crash. You want to know what crash means to me? It means the stock market's going to zero. Look, okay, either one of two things. Either you're doing that stuff to get attention, okay? That could be the truth. I don't know. But if you honestly think that the stock market is gonna crash, why are you investing? Right? Like, give me a break. Okay, there's a big difference between correction. There's a big difference between entering into a bear market. I think some of these studs on YouTube would have a hard time explaining that to me. I think it would be fun for me to put them to the test one of these times and have them actually teach me on their all-knowing insight to the stock market, in that every situation down 4% is an automatic crash in the stock market. Okay, I beg to differ. Don't make investing out to be more than what it is, especially a punchline for your YouTube project. Did I just say that? Yeah, I did. I meant it too. Take it to heart. Cool. While you're using the stock market as a punchline to scare people off of the stock market, a lot of people might find their way to a message and be demotivated to invest, when in fact, all they need to do for themselves is to justify investing for themselves, their household, their family, and for their legacy of wealth. That's some real talk. Yep. Therein lies the beauty and the downfall of social media. All right. And I'm just the guy to throw and shun at it because I could just give two shits less. Seriously. YouTube and social media is probably causing more damage than it is positive. And I'm going to say, well, Ryan, you're doing social media, man. I would like to think that I have some level of rational thought, ethical backbone in thinking about what I say before I say it, and making sure that you understand that about me. If that's not for you, I give you an exit. You can leave. I just don't care. I know where I'm going. I give away the pages in my playbook. I hold nothing back. As a matter of fact, the pages that I hold back are the very pages that YouTube wants me to disclose to an audience, and I refuse to do it. And that in and of itself should gain me at least a slight amount of credibility and a slight amount of respect. The fact that I withhold the fact that I don't roll that stuff out for the betterment of the community. Those ill-advised investors that make their way to the channel that lump carbon copy me into that whole I'm coming to YouTube and I want you to give me the goods and therefore I'm going to turn and invest in the goods. I won't do that. I'm going to tell you what you need to hear, not what you want to hear. Big difference between me and other channels, man. All right. A lot of good other channels out there. Don't get me wrong, man, but surprise me. Okay. I catch a lot of the landscape out there and I just am like, man, I don't see the good that comes out of it. I really don't. All right. Very cool. 1100. Fantastic. That's a big position and it's going to be awesome. It's going to be really fun. I find it interesting, the criticism of Hyliion and that they need to bake the cake without the ingredients. What's even furthermore interesting, how it ran up in its valuation when it was a SPAC play, and now all that's behind, all that inherent to risk. You want to talk about risky in hindsight? I will disclose to you this. I should have never been messing with warrants, never, because that in any other capacity has a chance to go to zero and dissolve away. Okay. Not good. Not good. These things need to go to the board and get approved before their merger, their SPAC merger is even approved and turned out for common placement on the stock market. All that's behind Hyliion. And I think it's interesting to me, all the good news that's come through the pipe, the 8-minute battery, the multi-use. I'm a ferry inspector, ferry, boat, inspector. Okay. And what Hyliion, Thomas Healy specifically talked about is the application to use those in some of our short run ferries. Imagine the Seattle ferry system, right? Could you imagine that running on a diesel generator powered by batteries? Yeah, sure. So there's multiple use cases for this technology. All they have to do is follow through on their suit. And quite frankly, that's the last domino to fall right there, because the only thing that the analysts have thus far on this company now is that they don't have sales. We knew that they weren't going to have sales a year ago. It's right there in their investor presentation. They're actually slightly ahead of schedule on everything that they've disclosed as far as what they're rolling out with product placement. It's going to be a lot of fun when these unfold over the next couple years. That's why I'm not really that concerned with what happens in the stock over a couple day period, outside of me looking at it and taking advantage of that opportunity, that of which I have been doing. Okay. I won't get into specifics on that though, not through a social media and not until the time is right. Okay. If you tune into me enough, you'll know exactly where my loyalty lies. And you can read behind the lines and do your own due diligence on stuff like that. Okay. Very cool. Mr. Billy Johnson in the house. My portfolio is at an all-time high. That's not surprising. The market's been really kind of crazy over the last year. Big downturn, big upswing. Okay. It's made a lot of people a lot of money. So, you know, these retracements, I think, in some of the portfolios given back some house money. And that's another small ace up my sleeve, another card out of my playbook. Yeah, you guys remember, it's not as if I took and built this Hyliion position on hard-earned dollars. These are house dollars, okay? A little bit different. A dollar's a dollar's a dollar. I get it, okay? But it's a little bit different when I take house dollars and I'm looking to leverage that position up for future profits. Okay, little bit different application, little bit advanced thought in my strategy and my perspective and what type of aggressive application I'm putting on this particular. Right now, it's a pretty complex level of entries. Right, anywhere from 20 all the way down to my lowest entry today, 1193. That's minus the put contracts that I put in place. Just following my plan, all dividend paying stocks. So you ought to be doing okay with the dividend paying stocks. Honestly, to each his own, Billy, right? The whole idea behind investing is you're never going to get it perfect right off the bat. But as you get these days and these weeks and these months logged as an investor, you're really going to start to define who you are as an investor. And I think the grander place in investing is when you take on a perspective of happiness irrespective of the stock market. Like for me, it's just there. It's doing everything that I've asked it to do. Crowd strikes down big, but I don't care because I want exposure to that. Salesforce.com. Was it a bad buy or a bad entry point? Yeah, maybe. But Salesforce.com is a position that I want to hold into 2021, 2022. It's a 5-year position for me. So it makes complete sense to me. But when you have a lot of different good things going on, the investing piece is really just a supplement to those additional things. Okay. Very, very important takeaway in the investing arena, man. It can supplement a lot. And I appreciate your comment, Billy. Thank you so much, man. Very cool. And tennis, same, up 2.5. Fantastic. I love it. The media's goal is to get people to trade. That's such a smart comment. That's right. All a bunch of propaganda. They don't get paid if they come on. Like me, I'm doing this for free. Okay, I do it for you guys. And I do it for the sheer sake that if I can build a community of people who come back to me and they're like, you know what, Ryan, I'm a free thinker. I've defined what type of investor I want to be. My portfolio is reflective of me. Thank you. Thank you. I didn't buy into all the CNN stuff and all the CNBC stuff that's telling me, hey, from one month to another, I need to be excited and frantic and oh my God, this is incredible. And then flip the switch on the very same stock market. Is Apple really that different of a company now than it was last month? Is it really that different of a Microsoft this month than it was last month? If you look at every single one of those pundits and look at every single one of those holdings that those people are holding in their own personal portfolios, it's all the Apple, Microsoft, J&J, Bristol Myers, Home Depot, Costco of the world. It's all of those stocks, okay? And what they don't disclose to you is the scale that they use to enter into some of those other companies, the speculative stuff, in the same capacity that I do. Okay. They want a little bit of exposure to that to give themselves that opportunity for that accelerated growth. Yes, just like I do. Okay. But make no mistake about it, guys. There's only one Apple company out there. And I'm going to participate in that company just like the big boys and gals do. Okay. And I would presume that the retail investors kind of wake up a little bit and say, you know what? I'm not going to make investing more than it needs to be. Ryan's right on the money, man. You don't have to try to outthink this gig, okay? If you think you want to outthink it, do what I do in a certain portion of my portfolio and buy some VYM. The VYM is chucker-blocked full of those good value stocks that pay a dividend. It's a no-brainer. You don't have to think at all. No thinking required. Holy smokes, Ryan. Are you kidding me? You're blowing me away. You mean to tell me that this whole investing thing, the thing that I thought of was just a magical, mystical place over this whole time, is something that I can participate in too? Yeah, that's the beauty of it, baby. Welcome to the empowered message. That's what it's all about. All right. Very cool. It's a beautiful thing. 3% dividend yield, exposure to, I think VYM's got 400 companies. I'm not really sure, but it's got a pretty good basket of diversified companies that'll pay you low yield, right? Jesus, don't make it more hard than it needs to be. I'm loving my position in VYM. And I fail to mention sometimes that I rode VYM down into the pandemic low last March, and I was down huge. Jesus, I was down huge. And value was out of play. So, it was like, man, is this worth it? Geez Louise. No, yeah, it's paying off. It's whipping some ass. I would wish VYM on anybody. I would wish the total stock market on anybody, just as a starting place. That's why we earmark those as starting places. Entering into a good asset like a VTI or just entering into the S&P 500 is like, it doesn't go with that narrative of, oh my God, the stock market's fantastic. And then, oh my God, the stock market's horrible. Go back and look at the historical performance of the S&P 500 all the way back to 1928. You'll see what I mean. I just released my reset video. If you did not catch that, you need to catch it. Okay. I talk about some core shit in that video, man. It's legit because you're guaranteeing yourself that exposure to that diversified index over the next 10, 20 years. Is the S&P 500 going to look the same 5 years from now? Is it going to be the same 10 years ago? Was it, or 10 years from now? Was it the same 5 years ago? Was it the same 10 years ago? It was drastically freaking different, guys. Why not just guarantee yourself that diversified exposure across the large cap domestic stock market? It just seems to make sense to me. And I'm not just coming on here and blah, 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 lip dee 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 blah, 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 and giving you a bunch of lip service. What I disclosed to you in the numbers at the top in the calcs, that's real stuff. That's not monopoly. It's real. Those are real portfolio numbers, right? Okay. Can we walk the walk and not just talk the talk? Yep. It's important. If I was charged with coming onto YouTube and just blah, blah, blah all the time, I would consider my life a waste. That's a waste. This is what I do. Okay. That's why I chalk it up as a testimonial. Because if it's truly going to motivate people and it's truly going to, get people to a better place, you can get through my brash approach to this. But forgive me for my insistence that you need this information if in fact you don't have it. You need it. Okay? Insistence. Very, very important. All right. Cruising down to the end, I believe, of the stream. I don't even know what time it is. What are we looking at here? We got about 14 minutes before I hand over the reins. I'm sure these guys are probably going to come with a very spirited effort, as they always do. I just enjoy the heck out of it. I will, at the end of this live stream, remain back for anybody who wants to pop into the studio with me. If you have any reservation about that, get rid of it. Okay? I am just a regular freaking fella. If you're impressed by what you see on the Independent Investor channel, it's because I've got hundreds of episodes of practice, okay? And I'm not one of those guys that step onto social media and I'm like, hey, and I'm perfect in my application. No, it's taken me an ungodly amount of practice to come on and impress you guys on my social media savvy. But if you do want to take a few moments to kick into the studio, please take advantage of that. I'll hear you out and we'll talk through whatever questions that you may have. The floor is yours. Okay. And no question needs to go unanswered. That's for sure. Mr. Tim's in the house. Is there a video on how to set up M1 account? I have tons in my catalog. Unfortunately, if it's not in the M1 Finance as a topic category, which I believe they all are, you can hit me up afterwards. I do offer, I've stopped mentioning on my live stream, at least for the last couple, the products that I roll out. The Viper group is really my premier group for wealth building. You can find more information at independentinvestorgroup.com. That is www.independentinvestorgroup.com. On there, you will find the Zoom experience with M1 Finance. It is a Zoom meeting with me. It says M1 Finance tutorial where I can walk you through the portfolio wealth building experience one-on-one. It's a beautiful thing. I struggled, figured it out, actually shit-canned M1 Finance once. You guys know that have been with me a long time. I came back and gave M1 Finance a second chance, and I'm glad I did because I really, really like it. But if you're struggling with the setup, I helped walk someone through the M1 Finance setup last week. So I screenshotted and I'm willing to do that. I don't want to take up the live stream anymore because I've got about 13 or so, 11 minutes left, but stick around afterwards. Or I can catch you on the flip side. I roll those opportunities out willingly and openly. But that's the drop point. That's powered through Shopify. That is my loan website. I had to dissolve away the other one. It just wasn't getting any traction. Whereas the Shopify stop is the one-stop shop for all things personal empowerment with me and the few products that we roll out there. All right, very cool. Mr. Odell is a good friend of the family, man. Me and Mr. Odell go back. We're like plank owners on the Independent Investor channel, and make no mistake, I like to consider myself in some forms and fashions a leader when it comes to investing. But I like to also consider myself a friend and a companion walking right with you guys on this deal. And, Jared's been with me a long, long time, man. Shout out to you, my friend. Great to see you. And thanks for making your way onto the live stream. Very, very cool. Haven't watched TV in 13 months. I watch just Netflix. I don't watch a whole lot of YouTube, ironically. I say this all the time. There's very few channels out there that impress me. Matt Money is one of my favorites. Matt's just genuine. When Matt rolls out the genuine content, he's got his moments where that's really, really golden stuff. I like Joe Carlson, and I like Gen X Dividend Investor. Nate O'Brien is also one of my favorites. He's moved away from some content that was legacy for him, and he's moving into some stuff that I know is very, very important to him with regard to personal health. That's huge, especially on the mental side of the house. Yeah, good stuff, guys. All right, cool stuff. Mr. Aaron T's in the house says good evening. Good evening to you, my friend. Got 9 minutes. See, that was a little bit better. I think I could roll the live stream out for an hour and a half. If you guys do want to, and you're still in the live stream this evening, as I wind down the show, I may look to kick this sucker off at 8:30 and give myself a little bit more time. I think I'm a little more like a diesel engine, and I think once the live stream kind of gets to its end, we've really kind of got to some really good topics, and I love it. I think it's wonderful. 15 to work in today in VTI, VOO. The Qs, Hyliion were my buys, still 30 cash. Wow. That's incredible that's a very strong move today. I'm not sure why you picked today and not yesterday. I wasn't doing a whole hell of a lot of buying today outside of Hyliion, which really was kind of the drag in the portfolio. I let the rest of the portfolio just kick some ass today, man. It just like being a passive investor in the rest of the portfolio really kind of saved my bacon. And then some of the strategic buy points I made on right down to the granular low, man, granular low in that old bitch. Really turned north and did really quite well the rest of the day, as I just kind of sat on it as it really turned. I had that high volume buy. I really think that, man, if you guys want to know what I'm talking about, look at the volume at 11.17. Okay, $11.17. And that might just be, it may retest, it may break. I don't know. Again, I'm not in that business. But 11.17 this morning on 3/5/2021 might just kind of be a pivotal moment for the stock. Thank you for sharing that, Radiated Racer. That's pretty awesome, man. Appreciate you. Very cool. I thought about taking some strategic stabs in the passive. I did not. We'll buy here come mid on my dollar cost average schedule. I've got money that goes whoop every 2 weeks, and I don't see it. It just is. And again, one of those aces and secret sauces to my success is I've learned to live without that money. You need me to say it again? I've learned to live without that money. Yep. And I would highly encourage you guys to do the same. You don't need it. All right. True happiness comes in a different place outside the stock market. Okay. Separate yourself from the euphoric feeling that you get by spending money. It's a very, very shallow way to seek happiness in this life. Okay. All right. Very cool. I'm going to cruise through and really try to I got my brother from another mother. The Weber family's in the house, and Eric's been with me for like eons. It's just awesome. That's so cool, man. Again, one of many community members that are just absolutely loyal, devote to the message, and know where my loyalty lies. Absolutely, it is with your guys' personal empowerment. If we're going to build this project up, we're going to build it up for the right reasons. That's for sure. It can move as slow or as fast as we want it to grow. That's for sure. But if I'm going to look anybody in the face someday, they're going to look back in my eyes and they're going to say, "Thank you. I needed to hear at the time I heard it what it is that you had to say to me with regard to the investing opportunity." All right. Very good stuff. All right. Keep my money on the side here. Palantir, I like. I don't own it. I know Matt's a bull on Palantir. He can speak specifically. He covers the stock. I do not. I do cover Amazon. Amazon's a beast. Amazon's easy. Yeah, it's easy. Yeah. Amazon, I've got a fairly nice position in, but 2 shares, man. I'm a retail investor for Christ's sake. I'm not a wealthy man, but she's 2 shares of Amazon, man. I'm tickled pink. I'm like, geez, I'm just a little engine that could toot toot, right? Got a little Amazon in my portfolio, man. I'm happy with it, baby. Absolutely. You want to own a little Amazon on the partial share side of the house? You can do so in M1 Finance, and that may be, in fact, what you're asking about. It's a good strategy to go by. Got less than 4 minutes, guys. I don't think there's any announcements on the channel. My upload frequency, I've been very, very satisfied with. Keeping the pulse of the channel. Thank you for all your guys' support of those. That kind of helps keep the lights on and keep that little bit of ad revenue flowing in for the channel. And that I thank you. Spend a few moments watching those videos and taking that in. If it's your first time to the message and you did hear about that opportunity on the independentinvestorgroup.com, go over there and check it out. We built a cool website. If not, check it out for free. It's awesome. Yeah, join the mailing list and jump on my subscriber list. It's a lot of fun. It's very cool stuff. All right. I just want to cruise through here, man. You got clincher 16 in the house, 12-year double wood. Fantastic. It's great to see you, my friend. Thanks for rolling in. We good. Rolling dividends. Yeah, it's one of those investing gems. Happy Friday, everyone. Hoping everyone's having a great day. Yeah, it's been a rough week for me, actually. You wouldn't know it coming out with such a spirited live stream, but it's been a little tough for me. Monday was a beaut because of my anniversary, but yeah, it's been kind of weird for me for reasons I won't disclose over social media. That's for sure. But you guys really help kind of keep that opportunity for me to come on and do what it is that I love to do. I freaking love this. I love it, man. I eat, breathe, and sleep. I'll sit on the next live stream that Matt and Kyle will roll out, and I'll just sit here and finish my Crown Royal, reflect on the live stream. I review every live stream I do for an opportunity to get better. And that's for you guys. So we're rolling out a nice, clean product for you guys. I came close, but I didn't get to finish all of the comments tonight, and I do apologize for that. What I will do at this time is I will drop a link at the bottom of the live stream, and it will go in here. All right. Now it's at the very bottom. Boom. There it is. You can kick in there. Please, if there's others in, just be patient. I can only get to one at a time. If it's a sensitive topic or not, I can throw you all in the screen and we can talk round robin. Makes no difference to me, guys. So less than a couple minutes here. I just want to cruise down. There's a lot of good comments here, guys. Man, if you could make your way on earlier, that would be lovely. Leave your comment, go eat dinner, and then come back. That would be lovely. SLF Smashful. See, for stuff like this. Hey, Captain Ryan. Hey, everyone. I haven't been able to catch a live stream in a while. I catch them all. It starts early when I get a chance. Picked up Apple, Microsoft. You bet. You bet. Portfolio looks anemic without those good companies. I bought them at the wrong time. Microsoft, not so much. Apple's a little bit of it in a retracement here. A little bit. No big deal. Live to fight another day. Two of the top companies to own. And again, all those pundits, they own Apple, Microsoft, and every one of their portfolios anyway. All right. There's a reason for it. They're fantastic. All right. So with that, guys, I'm going to get down. There's Jay. He just popped in. I just see him at the bottom of the gallery. Jay, apologies, man. I'm just getting you at the end here, and I don't want to overlap anymore. I will kick over, guys. I'll daisy chain to help support the boys' project as well. But we will be back next Friday, 9 o'clock Eastern Standard Time. Please look for the thumbnail because I may kick it off even at most a half hour early. So I may kick off at 8:30 Eastern. And that way it'll give me a little bit more time on this because 60 minutes has proved not to be enough on the live stream. So with that, guys, I wish you all the best. Have a great rest of the weekend, and we'll catch you next week on the live stream. Next Friday, we'll be here. Thanks, guys.